Are we mashing a button? I have mashed a button. Hold on.
Mash it, Big Daddy. Mash it.
I ain't done this in a minute. Hold on. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Rick.
I'm Dan.
I'm George.
I'm Jake.
And we are Queer Magnolias,
the podcast.
In each episode,
we're going to talk about everything from growing up queer in the South
to the issues affecting our community today,
with a little bit of fabulous sprinkled in along the way.
Join us for an all-you-can-eat buffet of queer joy,
mixed in with the occasional bitch fest,
but always served with the spiciest tea.
Well,
shit. Well, shit.
What y'all doing?
Welcome back, y'all.
Welcome back. Cheers.
Cheers.
What a fucking day. Can we say that? Oh, sorry. Probably not. Sorry. Gonna get us kicked off the live.
It's better than you did, honey.
Well, there wasn't much in the news today. I mean, you know, just another day.
Not much at all.
Monday. Another manic Monday, honey.
That's exactly right. That's right.
Well, we are back. As you guys have seen in the socials, we have decided to return because there's some stuff happening in the world, and we kind of thought we have some things to say. So we've come back, but we are going to try out a little bit of a new format as we go into these new shows, starting with episode 100. So it's a new format, but it's the same old sass, and it's us. Take it or leave it. We are who we are. So, you know, with that said,
well, welcome back, y'all. So, just so we're clear, if you leave us, we're gonna hunt you down and bring you back. So, I mean, don't be talking about this shit.
We don't subscribe to that. Set someone. If you love someone, set them free. No, honey. If you love someone, and set them free, and if they don't come back, you hunt them down, darling.
That's right, and you fetch them back on your own.
That's right.
One squeeze tighter.
That's so true. That's so true.
And of course, we've chosen today because, of course, it's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So we've come to say thank you to Martin Luther King Jr.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what we're here for.
And there was also something else that happened in today's world that everybody knows about. There was an inauguration today, and we're going to. That's going to be
part of all black, darling.
Well, I do black sometimes, but I didn't know we had a dress code today. You should have sent an email, hon.
I should have, but I do black all the time. So, I mean, it's really like any given Tuesday, right? So
that's it. That's it. But we do want to address sort of what's going on. And we really want to sort of put a voice to what people's frustrations are. That's not going to be the entire show. That's going to be one part of the show each week. And we're going to look at some realness, and we're going to call some things out as we see it. And of course, whatever we see is the truth. You can go in and sell that right on down to the corner.
All the way.
All the way. So everybody knows that 45 now became 47. And according to him in his speech today, America has spoken. This American did not speak that language, but some others must have. So
apparently I was not heard when I spoke.
Neither were George and I.
So,
right. I listened to most of his speech. And one of the things I was, always surprised about is the fact that he just rambles all over the show. I mean, it's with no coherence at all. And the things that he mentions, there's only two genders. I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. It's not. It's just this constant agenda of keeping people stirred up. Yeah, and it's just something that's so frustrating. Well, I will say that got Barron to stand up. And you know what? I don't care how old he is. I'm going to call him out whenever I feel like calling him out. I noticed Barron popped up like popcorn. I'm like, dude, you better sit down because I'm not sure where you are on that spectrum.
Well, that's right. I do want to say we elected Dan to head up all the headlines and the politics and all that stuff because I'm not going to speak for George, but I will speak for myself. I turned off anything and everything news and politics wise after the election. I even did it on social. I quieted down a bunch of feeds and stuff and even deleted Twitter. So Twitter is gone. Our Twitter account, all that is gone. My personal one gone. And I have felt so much peace in my life since the election. And so when we were talking about this, I was like, I can't plug back into it. So that's when we kind of figured out maybe we'll do this different format and we'll take on all these different sort of topics and stuff. So
and we all know that Dan drinks heavily, so he can slog through the news. Who cares?
Girl, you can just read it, let it roll right off your back, honey.
Right, just like the gin rolls out of my pores. Same thing, same concept. So
sign you up for this job.
That's it. I don't remember the visually other inaugurations, but it was so obvious in today's that there's such a divide of here are my wall of supporters, so they can all sit in the front and all you other people can sit in the back. And I always used to think it was
outside apparently, because I did hear that they moved everything inside and all these people that were left outside in the mall with tickets in the freezing cold were like, what are we gonna do? So,
the rotunda.
That's what you're gonna do. Suffer. Freeze, bitch.
The rotunda only holds so many people, so they knew there was a potential they would not get in. I mean, it's just a fact of life. The rotunda. So it's like you can't put but so many people in there. I gather it's only the second time it's not been held outside. Ronald Reagan on one of his inaugurations was inside as well. Probably the second one. I could be wrong about that. I'm assuming the second one since somebody took a shot at him during his first administration.
But I also think wasn't Barack Obama's, I think it was outside, but wasn't it also like 28 degrees or something? It was like super cold.
It was. And there's snow on the ground in Washington today. So maybe Donnie forecast the weather now. So
I did want to say this. I want to say this at the top, and I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to quote William Shakespeare. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. And that could not be more apropos for what is happening in this country today, in my opinion.
But some of them still did not have tickets to get into the rotunda and had to stand outside in the cold, girl. Some of them were not top level devils, so they had to stand out.
Right, they were little devils.
They were the what was that? The seventh ring or whatever it is from.
That's right, seventh circle.
Seventh circle, yes.
Isn't that bar in New Orleans, girl?
It was. Oh, I missed the seventh circle, honey. They had both the seventh and the ninth. The ninth was zombies. I'm not kidding you. The ninth actually scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh, I can't stay here. This is
ready for it.
No, this is too much.
But the seventh.
Well, especially at 3 a.m.
Well, right. No, the seventh had entertainers, and so I was in for the entertainers.
He was entertained, honey.
I was entertained. So George and I had a sort of a weekend out, a local weekend out, and yesterday morning we ended up in Whittier. And we were going to one restaurant, which ended up not being open soon enough for our breakfast. So we went to a bowling alley in Whittier, which had a coffee shop attached to it. And we were in there, and we sat at the counter. Both George and I love sitting at the counter. And they had a television on in the corner, and it had on Fox News, and the knob was ripped off. And first thing I do is start groaning because I don't want to hear any of that trash. But it turned out that George and I were highly outnumbered. And people think here we are in California, everybody's a liberal Democrat. Oh, hell no, they're not. Because George and I were way outnumbered. We did not say, we voted for Kamala or any of that. We just listened to the others, and there were others to talk.
We may have been the only gentlemen with a little gentlewoman inside of them in the entire restaurant.
That's right.
Yes. So we were a little outnumbered for a lot of things. There was a point where I got up to go to the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, you have to exit the coffee shop, which is in one end of this enormous block lawn complex, which is a coffee shop here, a bowling alley here, and the bar here, which is part of the coffee shop. I'm part of the bowling alley. So I left the coffee shop and you have to go into the bowling alley to go to the bathroom. And this older gentleman held the door for me to leave the coffee shop, like a gentleman, like a gentleman.
Would hold the door for a lady, of course.
Exactly. And as I was saying, thank you so much, and going into the bowling alley to go to the bathroom, he said, Jesus loves you.
I hope you said, and Santa Claus is watching.
Thanks so much for reminding me. I know.
Yeah.
And
have
you
a
know,
good-
for X amount of dollars, you could love me. So, no, that's not real. That's not real.
So I did see one person working at the bowling alley inside the bowling alley that I really thought I could identify as being gay. And I thought, and he was very nice. He said, "Good morning." I said, "Hello, how are you?" And, we had a second or two of back and forth. And then I thought, wow, he must be a little outnumbered. Of course, bowling attracts a lot of people. I mean, there are gay bowling leagues around this country everywhere. But I did watch some of them bowl yesterday, and it is really rather mesmerizing, especially if they're good bowlers. It's like, wow, strike after strike after strike, and I'm over there in the gutter.
And you just like to watch the men bend down and throw the bowl.
Well, there might have been that.
Chinos wrap so effortlessly.
Just ever so.
Well, here's the thing. I would want to naturally complain about, oh God, I would never bowl and do all of this stuff. But I've done work events, right, where we were like, oh, let's go bowling, and had the freaking time of my life. So I'm gonna say it's probably the people you're with or whatever. But I have had some really good times in a bowling alley with work people and people I enjoy being around.
Yeah,
Those are
but
two
you have to
different
snap
groups.
off your nails to get your fingers in the bowling ball, Rick. I mean,
Well, not if you have them done in a little point, they'll go right in.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want the blunt cut. You want a point.
I got you.
She wants the lead press on active length.
Yes, active. Thank you. Very, very important. Very, very important.
And I did notice that Elon got a very big boost when Donald said we were going back to space. And, we were going to be the best in space exploration and all that stuff. And
Wait,
I thought,
didn't his spaceship just blow up last week or something?
yeah. But we're going to do all these things. And I thought, well, I'm sure Elon's pleased he doesn't have to use his money to go back to space. He can use the government's money.
Well, not like he hasn't been, but anyway.
Right. Precisely.
Allegedly.
All right. So we get on to some happier notes.
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Wait. Before we do, I said this in a text thread, and I don't know if you have some information about this, Dan, but I saw, and I have not looked at a lot of information because I knew that you were going to bring it to me.
Yep.
Can we talk about the Bible thing?
Yes. So
Oh,
JD Vance put his hand on the Bible that his wife was holding, and he did his swearing in ceremony. But when Donnie and Melly got up there, there was no Bible to be seen anywhere. So he did his swearing in without
It's because it burns.
Well,
It's
no,
because it burns when he touches it.
I just assume it's because it wasn't one of his that he was selling.
Right. They probably wouldn't buy one of his. But what is funny to me is that I did, like I said, I have logged out of everything, but some stuff does kind of seep through. There's just no way to escape it because I do have email on and I see this stuff. And I did see some headline about this thunderous applause that came across when he said he was saved by God. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, I can't even tell you. Before we move off at 2, I do actually have something to say.
Girl, she has to say, can you imagine? Dan.
Right. I mean, I'm sitting here with bated breath. He never says anything.
Like the Julia Sugarbaker, honey. I'm like, now here's the issue though. And I was thinking about this earlier today. Like I said, I turned off everything and I did my best to kind of like create a bubble around me, but it's just not always possible. And I was really surprised at just how much this event and everything that happened today affected me and had an impact on me. And I just couldn't, I got stuck on something I couldn't get out of my brain. And it was like, I don't understand how people take such absolute joy in inflicting pain on other human beings and enjoy the fact that they're suffering. And for as long as I live on this earth, I will never, ever, ever, ever understand how someone takes joy from that when another person is suffering. But yet that's what these Republicans do now. They live for it. They live in it. They take such joy from it. And it just blows my mind. I will never get it. I will never understand how you take joy in another person's suffering.
Girl, World War II, concentration camps, Nazis. Do I need to say any more?
Well,
no,
but,
I get it. I just can't wrap my head around it. I think that's
Well,
where I was at today.
and with that, I also have to add that we had internment camps for Japanese
Mhm.
citizens in this country.
Right here
120,000.
in California.
Yes, I think there were 2 or 3 here in California. They were all over the West. 120,000 Japanese American people were interned. But then if you look back at enslaved people, we brought people to this country knowing we were going to torture them and bend them to our will. There are lots of people who really get off on the power and the greed and the corruption and stuff. And I think what we're going to see in the next 4 years, now Dan's going to be a predictor, is what we're going to see is there are going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be run over in the process of making us go into our new world. And while I'm not happy to see any of my fellow Americans suffer, I really am not. I'm not going to say I told you so either. I'm just going to go about my business. I'm like, there comes a point where you have to just say, I am who I am. We were all 3 bullied in school. This is nothing new. We survived then. We'll survive.
Been through it before. We'll get through it again. So.
And I did tell. Sorry, George.
You may not want to say you told you so, but I will say it for you.
Well, I'm kind
of with George on this, honey, because I'm like, I've said this to each of you privately and separately. I'm like, as we move forward into this new administration, I look at it this way. I did my part. I voted for the right person. I know I voted for the right person. Y'all still put that person in, so y'all deal with that. I'm going to take care of my community. I'm going to keep it small. I'm going to keep it tight. And I'm going to, I just said it, I'm going to keep it small and tight. But I am going to take care of my community. And the rest of y'all, like when he takes away your Medicare and your Medicaid, and he takes away your Social Security benefits, and your eggs go up to $12 for a carton of eggs, you're on your own. Don't come crying to me. My door is shut. My blinds are closed.
You knew what this was. You bought it. You paid for it. You are in it now.
You helped stir the Kool-Aid.
1,000%.
That's right. That's right. And I also want to mention that, grief has no expiration date. Some people grieve longer than others. Some people bounce back easier than others. If you're still grieving about the election, it's okay. It's okay if it takes you another year or 4 years, whatever it does. But it is imperative that we each find our happy where we can, because if not, he isn't right here bullying me personally. So I have to make sure that I keep my perspective in here correct and on the straight and narrow for Dan's life. But I'm here to tell you, let all the hell rain down. We're going to get ours.
Burn it down. Burn it down. This is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted a new republic? Well, you can have it.
That's
I
right.
will take care of my community, and that is that. But anyway.
That's it.
Roberto says, welcome back, Magnolias. Thank you. We're happy to be back.
Hi, Roberto.
Hey, Roberto. We
And
have
with that
angels
said-
envy tonight, right?
That's right. And that said, let's move on to a new topic. I don't want to talk about this
Okay.
angry, nasty stuff anymore. George, what you got?
I want to talk about, as I will continue to talk about this season, ways to take care of yourself during this insanity.
Yes. Come on now.
And I think I want to start with something that's very simple. It's something that I'm doing. It's something I know, Rick, you're doing, which is just limiting your media consumption. Girl, we know what's happening. You don't have to listen to it. You have not got to plug in. I did it the first 4 years. I did it incessantly. I made myself insane. And as this whole election approached, as we've gotten into inauguration, I'm like, I can't for my own sanity. Here's the thing. If shit happens, someone's going to tell me. If there's things I need to know, I'm going to find out. I do not have to pay attention to every period, every uncrossed T and undotted I that comes from this administration. I don't have to pay attention. Neither do you. Limit your interaction with media. Take care of you.
That's right. And it also comes from people we know as well. There will be people who will be as vitriol on the liberal side as they are on the conservative side. I don't want to hear their constant talk 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I don't give a fuck about the memes, pardon my language. It's not funny to me. It's very serious to me. Let's
And
have a serious conversation instead of a funny conversation about
And here's the
this
thing
shit.
about that. If you have someone in your life who is constantly sending you things directly through social, through your text, you can say to them, hey, for my own mental health, I need to unplug from this. But please don't include me on these group texts. And if they love you, which of course they do, because they're your friend, they're going to
That's
respect it.
That's right.
And if they don't, girl, there was that block button.
Right. You can block a well,
A
never
bitch
mind,
in
I'm
a heartbeat,
Okay.
honey. I know where you're
already
going.
I've pushed the envelope a couple times already in this. But I feel very much the same way. And I don't need to see the constant Blue Sky is kind of my blue sky of social media at the moment. I'm really enjoying it for the most part. What I love most about it is that you can curate your feeds. So you've got all the people that came over from Twitter, right? And everybody's there. And I figured out how to like follow everybody I was following. And then you got all these other special feeds that you can kind of curate and do. And I've been doing that. And it's been nice because I feel you, but I don't need you to tell me I need to save democracy. Don't you think I know that? I don't need to be told that every freaking 30 seconds in your feed or whatever. So I can mute those and sort of block those and look into like the other, like Blue Sky has like book talk and film talk and cinema talk and all these other like LGBTQ talk and all of that stuff that you can actually kind of tune into. So I love that. Although I think it's called Book Sky and Film Sky and Cinema Sky. But anyway,
That's all right. Once they
don't get
follow
me started on
you-
TikTok. Oh God, what a mess that was this past weekend.
Exactly. And I want to say thanks to that, thanks to like TikTok and what you're saying about finding the new spaces on like Blue Sky, is the second thing I want to recommend to people. Because like, of course, you can't put your head in the sand. Of course you can. And honey, no one's going to blame you. If that's how you need to live, to take care of you, then you have my permission. You don't need it, but girl, do it. But find a safe space for discussions. Find people you can talk to about it, people that are going to understand and listen to your parameters. And when you say, let's change the subject, they change the subject, which I think is what we have here. Like, I know that I can come to Dan and Dan's going to say, well, girl, this happened. And Dan is going to give it to me in a way that I can hear it. And I appreciate that. And I also think like I'm going to do a shameless plug for the place that I work, LA LGBT Center. On Instagram is going to give you, they're going to give it to you straight. They're going to tell you what you need to know that's coming from this administration that's going to affect the queer community. And they're going to give it to you with no BS, which I think is also very important in these times. You don't want something that is being filtered through a lens that is going to
one way or the other. Yeah.
Or it's also just going to escalate panic.
Right.
No one needs that. And that's what I suggest for you to do to take care of yourself.
Right. And buy a new strawberry shortcake if that's what it needs to be.
Exactly. So yeah, I totally agree with all that. Shall we move on to the next segment? What do we think?
You agreed, Rick?
Right. Well, as long as Rick has agreed, we can move on.
We're good.
Mama has agreed. We may move on.
All
right.
So should we hit up the front porch?
No, Rick has.
I have a segment.
Oh,
stop.
Her segment is the just hostess, honey.
Well, I thought you were going to open the door for the ladies. I mean, come on.
I mean, we could talk about it on the front porch. I don't have a problem with that. It is very lighthearted. Do you want to do that?
We can.
All right. Well, I wanted to do, just for the very welcome back episode, I wanted to do one little thing. So just give me 1 second, please.
Jesus, take the wheel. Please take the wheel.
Shut up, bitch. Shut up.
Mash the button, sugar. It doesn't work unless you mash.
Uh-huh. There we go. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes, I love
there
it.
you go. I figured if we're going to move
get
to
that
the front
in there.
porch. The front porch has been rebuilt, it has been redesigned, and here we go into a brand new season of Queer Magnolias.
What she has not done with this entirely brand new built front porch is oil that screen door. That is not happening.
No, honey, no. We got to keep some things the original from way back when. I mean, it just has to be done.
Well, and sadly, we don't have cicadas. cicadas or whatever.
Well,
you call those
I
things.
was actually going to edit something together with some cicadas or whatever today, and I was like, "No, girl, calm down."
Damn, that screen door is a shout out to King Richard's Antique Emporium.
Right, right. Oh my Lord, we had such fun. I came back poorer. But I've got new things for my apartment because I have so much vast space
So many
with
services.
nothing anywhere.
And you're not even using one of your new drinking glasses.
No, I haven't even washed them and taken them out of the bags yet.
Let's see.
All right, so here you go. Welcome back to the front porch. Cheers. And
Cheers.
my little topic is I'm going to call it the QMP glow up. And in this little segment, I want to end these episodes where we shine a light on like a queer celebrity or a queer star or a rising artist or somebody and celebrate their achievements, share their stories a little bit. And I think it's just a perfect way to sort of end these episodes. And we talk a little bit about what's happening in the world. We talk about how to take care of ourselves. And then we end on sort of a light note. This is what's happening in the world. So with that said, and with this episode, I want to talk about the man of my dreams, Mr. Orville Peck.
Oh.
Do you know who he is?
I thought you were going to say Redenbacher, but okay.
I thought he was going to say Jonathan Daly, but here we go.
Well, Jonathan Bailey is another one as well, honey. Trust when I say. But we all know who Orville Peck is, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
This lovely man right here. And he is actually going to be making his debut on Broadway in Cabaret. He is replacing Adam Lambert on Broadway in the role of the MC in Cabaret. And I'm very, very excited for it. And I think I need to go to New York to see it just for this. So
Let's talk about that. So,
Yeah.
will Orville Peck, as the MC, be performing as Orville Peck or as their actual for real names? And what I mean,
know what you're getting to. You're getting to the mask. You're getting
Exactly.
to the mask.
Yes, girl.
So that is the thing that no one knows yet. So it is TBD to see it. To TBD, but I can very much see how, because I was looking at sort of what's his name
Adam Lambert
from Trader.
Use your words.
I can't think of his name at the moment. Alan Cummings.
Yes.
So when he took over the role of the MC in Cabaret, he completely revamped the character.
I mean, he made it what it is today.
What's that?
He made it what it is today.
He did. So that's what I'm wondering is Orville Peck going to step in and redo it as well, using his mask and all the stuff that he does? Will he revamp the character again? So that is TBD. We don't know, but I'm very excited for it.
I saw Orville in something recently where he had on a very, very, very short mask.
Mhm.
It was more like the Lone Ranger or something, rather than a fringe.
He does some without the fringe and some with. So he for sure. So but
so I'd like to know, since he's hidden behind a mask, what is it that is so intriguing to Miss Clifton?
it's the mask. I mean, let's be real. It's the mask. I mean, I have found photos of him without the mask. I know what he looks like, but I'm all about the mask. I mean, you know I am. You know that's what it is.
So what you're saying is giving you like a whole
slap me in the face with that fringe, honey. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, honey. I'm good.
Come to Jesus moment.
Catwoman, like I'm feeling much more yummy now with the mask on.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yes. That's exactly what it is. So
it could be worse.
It could be worse.
And we've seen it be worse.
But my favorite part about this is I don't think so. I've always known Orville as a musician. I never knew he was actually an actor, but it turns out he studied acting first, like at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. He has performed in the West End. I mean, that's a pretty substantial credit for the most part. And so I'm pretty excited to see what he does with this.
Well, I really think you should explain that a little more because I'm sure none of the queers listening to this know what the West End is. So please explain that.
So the West End is like Broadway, but in London. So London's West. Well, I'd be surprised if any of the queers listening to this didn't know what the West End and London was. But yes, it is. It is
Well,
like
some people
it
live
is
in
it is like
Mayberry.
it is like Broadway is to us here in the States. The West End in London is kind of their upper elite sort of like where
It's not off Broadway. It's all the way on Broadway.
it's on
just
Broadway,
the
but
West
it's in the West End. It's not off West End, it's in West End.
End.
Now, like, I feel like I should explain to you what sarcasm is.
Oh well.
You don't need to explain that.
Well, you didn't get it when I said that nobody would know what the West End
Well,
is.
that's not on me, darling.
Oh, but I don't know. I feel like maybe.
I mean, don't put that on me if your joke didn't land. Why is that my fault?
Maybe she
Well,
wasn't.
I was thinking of some of the listeners. They may not know. Might.
Well, you know what, Dan? Thank you for looking out for the people.
That's right. I'm trying to help. I'm
Dan-
trying to be a help. Trying to be a help this season. Is this
That's
season
right.
87?
Maybe. I haven't decided what number it's going to be yet. It is definitely episode 100, though. So it is the penultimate episode, right?
We can now go
Is
into
that the right word?
syndication.
Yes, exactly. It's the bicentennial.
I lived through that shit. Let's don't have one episode on that, please.
Have you ever seen Cabaret on Broadway? Have you seen it live? Or
I have not. I have
Broadway.
not.
Yeah.
I have not. I've seen the movie. I've seen like off Broadway versions. Never seen it on Broadway.
Okay.
So I think we need to go. We should do QMP live in New York and go to Broadway and see this fucking freaking show.
Yes, let's do it. I'm sure that you can make that happen. You have many connections.
Do you know when it's coming?
Let's start a GoFundMe.
We should ask for government support for the endowment
Yes,
for the
exactly. With everything else happening in the world, with all the fires around us, everything that's happening, we should start a GoFundMe so that we can go to Broadway.
right. So you can meet Orville Peck and live your fantasy.
Fantasy.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
She can-
ma'am.
You can live her car wash fantasy, honey.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
that.
my goodness.
So what else? What else have we got this week? Since we've been back, since we weren't here.
Well, I mean, God, there's just so much happening. Like the fire, we're all okay with the fires, as everybody knows. We're here in Los Angeles. Everybody's fine. We did have a few close calls, a couple close calls here and there, but for the most part, everything is fine. You know, we're good. I finally unpacked my bags yesterday. I brought them in from the car on was it Thursday or Friday of last week, and then unpacked everything yesterday. I was like, it's probably okay to sort of unpack. But there's the fires that have been happening. There's the complete burn down of the United States that's happening right now.
That's next, honey. That's next.
Yeah.
So I do want to say though that because several people from around the country have reached out and asked each of us, all three of us, you know, how we're doing and all this stuff. I can unequivocally say there's no one in Los Angeles County that doesn't know at least one person that has lost everything. And lots of us know several people that have lost everything. So, you know, the magnitude of that, I mean, I've been through tornadoes and hurricanes, earthquakes and fires. Fortunately, not right inside of a fire, but you know, we've experienced these things. People say to me, oh my God, how could you live in Los Angeles with earthquakes? And I say, you know, living in North Carolina and Florida, waiting for a hurricane to come, you know, you wait 3 or 4 days thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then it swoops and it goes to Bermuda or whatever, or it hits the land, whichever one it is. An earthquake is usually instantaneous. Wildfires are much more like a hurricane. You simply cannot get away from the stress of it creeping towards you.
Yes.
And it's I think it's taken a toll on every person that lives in Southern California in a way that, because it wasn't only us, everyone in Southern California had all these devastating winds. And so it was just like, is somebody going to accidentally drop a match and it's going to be Riverside or San Diego or wherever? Thank God I'm not happy it's here, but at least it didn't decimate all the other places as well. But it was a lot of stress.
Well, and to that point, I think it's important to also say that I've always been very glib about, oh, there's a wildfire here. Da, 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 da. This one kind of was different because it was so big and so fast moving, and so like it really. I mean, they all make an impact. I'm not trying to minimize any of that, but for some reason, this one just felt more devastating across the board, and it was scary. I mean, there were a couple of scary moments that that I and George, I know you evacuated as well, and went to a different area. And I didn't. Dan and I didn't exactly evacuate, but I did pack the car, and I was like, these motherfuckers are going with me. And I'm like, I put everything in the car, and I was like, like I'm ready to go at a moment's notice, because there was a moment where you could see the flames coming up over the hills. And I was like, oh, okay, this might be like, this is kind of serious. And we need to we need to be,
And I will say, because everybody that's listening already knows who the three personalities are, but I will tell you the things that you think you have to have versus the things you probably should do. I had a whole bag full of sunglasses and jewelry. I'm like, honey, I am going to look fabulous if I get photographs, running to the car. I'm like, and all I can think of is, you're just being stupid, Dan. But then truthfully,
yeah,
I wear dress pants to work most days and a pullover shirt. That's my drag every day of the week. A pair of work slacks and a pullover shirt. And I thought, well, how do you figure out which one of these are your favorite children? I'm like Meryl Streep in that movie. I'm like, I gotta have them all. I have to have them all. These are my children. But then my car is only so big. Once I put the sunglasses in, most of the car was full.
Well, true. But I do want to shout out the where you work, George, the LGBT Center, because we did a donation, and a bunch of us went through all of our drawers and closet and all of this stuff and put together, was it 12 or 14, like 70 or 80 quart plastic bins and took them over. Because the center was doing a wildfire donation drive, and it was like, and again, going back to what I was saying earlier, I'm going to focus my efforts on taking care of the community. And I was like, how do I help my community? And then I saw that come across on Instagram, and I was like, I'm in. And so I rallied as many people as I could and got a friend of ours with a truck, and I was like, come on, let's go. We're taking everything we can get over there. And I was texting you, and I was like, I'm going to send food to these people. I'm going to send, how do I do this? And so, but it was nice to see
it was overwhelming, the response rate, because I worked the other end of that. I worked the day with the collections, and just the amount of people that showed up, just the line of cars just dropping off. It was amazing. It was heartwarming. It was overwhelming. It was like people just opened up, and they were like, let me just give. And you're not the only one, Rick. Like, people were sending donuts and pizza, and like there was so much food that was coming for the volunteers and people. Like, it was a remarkable day. It was a remarkable day.
So now we're going to switch back to Dan, because that's how he does this. So
oh Lord, here we go.
It's been 5. No, so this is so important. So when we talk about things like politics and stuff, it's a sad thing to say, but some humans, work best when they're dropped in the hot water.
Yeah.
When the hot water is boiling hot, all of a sudden they can make a difference. So we may find, right, precisely like tea. So what we may find is during the current administration, as of today, makes me want to throw up. I swear to God, it does. Maybe what we'll find is that hot water is going to be hot enough for enough people, besides just the queer magnolias, to stand the fuck up and make a difference. Maybe. Because at this point, I don't think there's going to be a blue wave. I don't. I think there's going to be a blue trickle if we're lucky. But I think enough of the red people are going to be burned this time that they're going to say no more. I pray to God. I'm sorry.
So I will tell you this, based off what you just said. I have always said, I always work best under pressure. The more pressure you put on me, the more you get out of me. And so with what we're about to face, yeah, I'm like, I'm not happy about it, but I'm like, I'm not worried. I think that I'm gonna figure it out. And I don't know the answers, but I'm gonna figure it out and we're gonna get there. So we'll get through it together. That's why I wanted to come back. That's why I think we were all in agreement. Like, listen, if we're going to come back to this, because we said we were done with 99 and all of that, but I think we all decided with this shit that's happening right now,
we've got something
one thing we can do,
and we need. Honestly, I say this often. We need to gather our little chickens, right? We have got to get all of the trans people and all the non-binary people, all the gay people, all the spectrum. We've got, if we have one little bit of a voice that makes a difference, it's so important because people need to know there's community there, no matter how bad the shit gets.
And on that point, and I know you have something to add, George, and I'll give you that one second. But on that point, I'm putting in the socials a link of resources for the Rainbow Youth Project, for the Trevor Project, all of these different resources out to the community. Go, George.
No, I just wanted to say, Jan, don't forget the lesbians, the bisexuals. There's a lot of other people.
Yeah, yes, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to leave anyone out because I think that's just it. The three of us.
That's why we're called Queer Magnolias, because it's all of us.
Yes, but the three of us are so very encompassing and inclusive. So I don't want to leave anyone out. We also
unless
have
you're conservative and a MAGA, and then get the fuck out of here. No one wants you.
But we also have a lot of allies in this fight who may be straight. I don't want to leave anyone behind that is moving us forward. So we're using our voice with Queer Magnolias to say, we ain't gone away. We're back. We're back to stay. Y'all better subscribe and do all that stuff because we're
going to be loud, and we're going to be, as George said in our little teaser from a few days ago, queerer than you've ever seen. We're just going to, we're not getting out of your face.
Because pressure makes what? Diamonds.
Diamonds.
Yes,
diamonds,
yes.
Diamonds. So before
These
we
have
end this
always
little...
brought me luck. Right.
Right. Before we end this little episode, I want to just leave one final thought.
Oh, look, he's going to have the final thought, y'all. Who thought George was going to have the final thought? Go ahead, Rick Hunt. Come
on, Jerry Springer. Come on, Jerry Springer.
I just wanted to say, I was thinking about this earlier. I think it is their intention to make us angry, to make us unhappy, to make us miserable. And knowing that, it is our duty to each other and to ourselves to seek out the opposite of that. And it's exactly what you were talking about earlier, George. It's the single most important act of rebellion and resistance that we can do is to find joy and to embrace it.
And to share it, because it is important to share it.
But even if you aren't able to share it, embrace it and find it for yourself. That is the single most important thing you can do. Find the joy in your life.
Because
so
baby,
that's all I wanted to say.
What's going to piss people off the most is if you just live.
Yep.
Yes.
Live.
Yes. Yes. Live your best life.
So with that, we'll see y'all next week.
We sure will.
Bye, y'all.
Maybe not with Angel's Envy, but maybe something for the front porch. Who knows?
Tito's, honey. She'll have Tito's next week.
Yeah, may have Tito's or may have Plymouth Gin. Who knows?
Well, guess you'll have to wait and find out. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining.